This is my Model Y, and that beautiful structure in the background is the George Washington Bridge, one of the main gateways into the greatest city on earth, New York City. In the summer of 2021, I learned a painful lesson about what to do before entering Manhattan. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what that is. Okay, so this video will be structured just a bit differently. First, I'm going to start at the conclusion. I'm going to tell you the moral of the story up front. Second, for those of you that want to hear how I learned this painful lesson, I'm going to tell you my story. All right? You ready? Before entering New York City, use a supercharger. That's it. If that's all you're here for, I respect your time. Please feel free to leave. But for those of you who want to hear my painful story involving range anxiety, a nervous family, and a $100 supercharger trip all along the backdrop of a global illness, it begins like all great stories do. So, a long time ago, in a land far, far away, my family and I were traveling in our chariot. Our Tesla Model Y. It was the summer of 2021. I didn't know it at the time, but it was the hottest day of the year. We were beginning our day trip into Manhattan. I had a full battery. I had no concerns about charging or anything else. It's a trip we've done at least 20 times already, but not on such a hot day. The entire ride into Manhattan, we were pumping the air conditioner full blast. The air couldn't come out fast or cold enough. Mistake number one. Our first stop was near the Fifth Avenue Apple Store. For those of you that have been there, the Cube. My wife needed to stop into a store for a minute. Now, maybe I was preoccupied, maybe I'm naive. But when my wife said that she needed to stop into a store on Fifth Avenue for a minute, I should have heard what that really meant. Not 1 minute. My mistake, number two. So while my wife was shopping, my kids stayed with me in the car and watched YouTube on the Tesla screen. More power consumption. Mistake number three. I popped open the Tesla app and literally was watching the battery drain 1% per minute. I was so startled. I was so alarmed that I began looking for a Tesla supercharger inside of Manhattan. On the screen, it's fine. There's a supercharger nearby. Well, I don't know if I just missed it or Tesla updated their supercharger maps with extra info later, but I did not know that the superchargers were inside of valet parking garages. This is important later. Well, my wife finally gets back to the car and I tell her about the situation. I think at that point we were about at 15% battery. I chose to go to the supercharger at West 75th Street. So, now we have 15% battery left. It's the hottest day of the year. We're pumping the AC, and now we are driving. And I'm driving like Bruce Willis in Die Hard with a Vengeance. I'm ducking and weaving through the traffic all the while my wife is a nervous wreck next to me that the car is going to die. She's complaining to me that we never should have gotten a Tesla. This is all your fault. This was all your idea. I never wanted this car. On and on and on. I don't hear any of that. I'm focused, man. The battery is dropping faster than ever. The Tesla navigation tells me we're getting close. We're at 7% battery now, and this is starting to get mission critical. And I see the sign. That little red sign. Yes, we did it. Kids, we're going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine. Driving, I smirk at my wife. See, girl, what were you so nervous about? I told you, I got this. But our story doesn't end there. No. Remember what I said earlier about this story taking place during the backdrop of a global illness? Well, until this point, our experience with superchargers had been that you independently pull up into your own stall. Stay in your car. Relax, you recharge, look at your phone, watch Netflix. Well, in Manhattan, this does not exist. In Manhattan, there's no space for a row of superchargers like you would find out on the open road. So again, we found the parking garage. Our spirits were high. We drive in.
Sir, this is a private garage. You cannot drive there because the Tesla Supercharger is in the basement. Because of our insurance policy and New York City laws, you must exit your vehicle. Get out of your car.
What? Sorry, what? The parking attendant tells us to get out of our car. Come on. I wasn't expecting this. I look over at my wife, who understands that our situation just went from bad to worse. Now strangers have to get into our car, touch the steering wheel, touch everything, breathe in here. Strangers who hop in and out of cars all day long and deal with other strangers all day long. So, my wife is a bit of a germaphobe, but she is especially concerned about our children, a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old. She doesn't even look at me. She just says, "Let's leave." I respond, "Honey, we're not gonna make. Let's leave." It's all right. All right. So we leave. We stay in our car. We drive away from the garage. Battery status is now at 5%. We exit the garage and park on the street, looking through the Tesla navigation, assessing our options. After we enter the info to any other nearby superchargers, the Tesla navigation tells us we're at negative battery. If we leave this garage, if we leave this opportunity, we will be stranded somewhere in Manhattan. It dawns upon us, we have no choice. This garage is it. The battery is now at 3%. We go back to the parking garage. I tuck my tail back in and go back to the parking garage. My family reluctantly exits the vehicle. The parking attendant gives me a smirk. He hops in and he takes it into the elevator down to the sub-basement to charge. My family and I agree that we're only going to stay here for the minimum amount of time possible. This trip is an unplanned trip completely. So we agree on 30 minutes because the smallest block of time you can buy from the parking garage is 30 minutes. However, this will allow us enough time to get some coffee and some snacks and hit the road again. Now, luckily, 1 block away, there is the legendary Levain Bakery. Now, we've been here before. We have a normal order for us. It's mostly for me. 2 of every cookie, a dozen cookies total. And if you've ever seen these cookies, they're like an inch thick. You crack them open, like, oh my God. Plus some coffee, $50 for this order. The snacks make my family happy for a cool minute. I feel like a good husband and father for a tiny bit. 30 minutes have now passed. We go back to the garage. $36, please. What? $1 a minute? $30? Plus New York City parking garage tax of 18.75%, 6 more. $36 grand total. But we get our car. I hop in immediately. I check for the supercharger cost. Oh yeah, $15. Okay, great. Did I mention that in Manhattan you can only get the urban Tesla chargers that go a maximum of 72 kilowatts? No, not the 150 or 250 like the traditional standalone units. No. You spend more, you get less. So, all in, cookies, coffee, parking, supercharger, $100. Plus the time, anxiety, and yelling. But our car now had enough battery so that we could make it home. So we left New York City in our chariot. I keep on doing that. I'm sorry. Our Tesla Model Y, and we lived happily ever after. So the moral of the story is, before you enter Manhattan, visit the Supercharger. I'm Steve Young, and thank you for watching.